Welcome, welcome for a behind the scenes look inside the live streaming studio. I'm Joey Dowd, creator of New Territory Media, and last time we were together, we were inside this room and it was a bunch of boxes and empty space, and now the live stream studio is built. So let's go take a look at what I talked about, how things were gonna work out before, and how much of that stuff actually worked out and how it's been working. All right, so let's start off with the camera and the setup out here for the talent and where we're doing the show. So we've got right now it's the GH3, but I'll swap it out with the GH4 if I need to go 4K or GH5 or something a little bit more powerful. A little bit of a teleprompter install here. That's just for some other recording use that I've been doing. And then we've got that remote head that I was talking about that I can remotely control from the studio to pan and tilt. I had a smaller TV out here before. It was too small. So we got this 50-inch TV on a stand. So the stand, I can roll it around and move it if I need to use it elsewhere. This has worked out great once getting the bigger TV. And as you can see, I've got the video playback up here that is bringing the signal in from the studio through via NDI. So this is coming out of vMix over the network. The camera's going into the studio. And then this is just the live output. So if I'm playing clips and stuff, whatever the talent will be able to see what's going on the live stream out here. And it's also set up to switch audio sources. So when Danny's speaking, it's a mix minus. So if Danny's speaking, he's not going to hear himself speak. But when the clips go live or anything else goes live here, he's able to hear it out here in the studio over the speakers. And then the nice thing about this being a computer, it's super configurable. So over here we have just an example of a Twitter feed up, but if you wanted to track hashtags, we'll have a Google Doc up. So some of the other producers can send him messages that he's able to see on screen when he's live as sort of an easy text intercom system. Still tweaking some of that stuff out and tweaking out some ways for audio feedback to come out here in the studio. And then we've got that big computer that I was surprised by with the size, but I mean, I got a big desk here, so it really hasn't been that much of an issue. One other thing, and I realized this was an issue with the Panasonic cameras, is sort of a known issue. If you look at the video playback, you'll notice that was probably a good 1 second delay. And so it doesn't have anything to do with the NDI system or the fact that it's going from camera into the studio into the computer, being mixed, and then coming back out here. I believe it's more an issue with the Panasonic camera, and I need to swap out with a different brand just to test it out. But apparently Panasonic's known for having a slight delay coming out of the HDMI. And actually in my experience using Atomos external recorders, it is a little bit delayed. So I think it's more an issue with the source rather than anything with NDI or a delay coming out of vMix, which would maybe be a couple frames, but it shouldn't be a whole second. So that's another thing on the list to edit and tweak. What else? We've got microphones. I got an XLR cable here. I can either connect it to the shotgun mic behind me that you see, one of the wireless labs. Danny will bring his regular cardioid handheld mic that you would see on a stage performance, and that works out really well as well. Right now the sound is just going straight into the camera, and then that signal's going over SDI, audio and video together, so I don't have to worry about a sync issue. But the connection's still coming in through a 3.5 millimeter, so it's not ideal. Another area that I would like to expand on, but for now, it's working. I just want to make it better. But as you can see here, this was that HDMI to SDI Blackmagic converter that I talked about. So we've got HDMI from the camera to here, and then SDI coming out, going to the studio, along with SDI and the control cable for the remote head are both running into the control room. Only 2 cables running in, which makes things pretty easy to control. Obviously, 1 cable would be better. One thing I added also from the last video is I got 2 of these. These are Kowei's air purifiers, HEPA air purifiers. One of them is rated for about the size of this room, so I got 2. If we're not filming and someone else in here besides me, they're about to shoot, I'll be running these at full blast. Right now they're on eco, so it's very low fan mode, but full power. Gets a bit noisy. These are the highest rated, or some of the best rated air purifiers from Wirecutter. We have one at home. We've had one at home for about a year or two, and they're great. You definitely feel the difference. But looking into it, at first, I believe that HEPA, some things were saying that it didn't filter out coronavirus in the air. But then I did see studies that, yes, in fact, HEPA filters do filter out coronavirus. This is just another thing to add for safety reasons. Make sure everyone's comfortable here. Anyone that is in the studio, that comes in the studio, and also for myself, I would like to have as many protections as possible here in the space. So yeah, so I got 2 of these, and these are wired up to, I forgot the brand, but these were some Amazon, not the Amazon brand, but on Amazon, the smart home plugs. So these are connected to my phone, 2 of them. So just one button. When it's showtime, I just hit the button in the studio, and then everything shuts off. The fan shut off, and then once we're done with the show, turn them back on, get all the air circulation flowing, get everything cranking up. Yeah, that's it for the studio. Let's go into the control room space. So I think I might have had this configured a little bit differently, if at all, in the last video. So I got my MacBook setup. This is what I've had for a while that I really enjoyed. I used to have a 27-inch iMac that I worked off of for a while, and a MacBook. I mean, we're talking about like a 2011 MacBook. A year or 2 ago, I traded both in for just kind of maxed out whatever MacBook I could get, made that my only and primary machine, and then just bought a 30-inch monitor, and it's worked out really well. And I was starting to use this initially with live streaming, and then I hit a bunch of limitations. In the last video, I was like, I haven't bought a PC in like over 10 years, and now I bought 2. So this was a PC that I bought. And the main reason, and this will be a whole other video, was I initially started broadcasting on Wirecast. It was good-ish, and then it crapped out, especially with remote calling and the rendezvous session. Every show was always like, fingers crossed, hoping that it would work out. Since switching to vMix, it's like night and day. I mean, knock on wood, but haven't, like, 0 issues with vMix. And this not too, pretty affordable, under $2,000 Lenovo ThinkStation PC. It was under $2,000, which if you look at decked out vMix systems or whatever, I mean, the ones that are just built as like branded as a production streaming computer are like $5,000-8,000. And if you just kind of spec out the systems yourself, you could buy.
I'm not sure.
If you spec out the systems yourself, you could buy an affordable machine. The other reason I sort of bought this at the time was I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to use this PC, and also wanted the flexibility of having a second PC, either using it as a standalone broadcasting system, or using it as an encoder, or using it as a remote calling system. So having a computer gave me the flexibility where, like, I can install cards into it. I can install the Blackmagic cards, the SDI cards into it. So it has a lot of flexibility to really do whatever I need to do with it. And in this case, it has worked out really well as the main streaming machine. It has an NVIDIA card, the Quadro 2000, I believe. The graphics card has a built-in dedicated hardware encoder on it that its only purpose is to encode. So it's not taxing other parts of the system. So far that has also worked great. Probably gonna get another one just as a backup, another encoder or some other solution just to have. But yeah, so far, I mean, just still been really amazed and impressed with how it's been going. Yeah, I got another stand to put this TV on to kind of raise it up, and also to have it flexible where if I do need to roll it out here, I can have 2 monitors out here, depending on what kind of live show we're doing. If we're doing something that's a lot more interactive, or something where we're gonna have like a Zoom room on the screen, and we want the talent here to be able to interact with that person, then we have the flexibility to do that. I think that's it for now. If you have any questions about any of the setup here, any of the tech stuff, leave in the comments below. I'd love to address it in a future video. Always kind of tweaking and expanding on the studio, making it better, figuring out ways to make this all work and to make cool stuff out there while we're in this crazy time. If you enjoyed this video, please pass it along, give it a like, give it a share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments other topics, other questions you've got. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.